Yes, Tech House Market crew, what is going on? My name's Liam Cox, and today I'm going to show you how to create more tension in your build-ups using automation. So if we hop straight into this project, this is something that I've been recently working on, and basically I'm going to show you how we can automate some of these channels in order to create more tension so that your drop hits harder essentially. So if we take a quick listen to what we've got here.
Come on, let's do it. Come on, let's go. Out of control, out of control. Come on, let's do it. Come on, let's go. Out of control, out of control. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Out of control.
Cool, so as you can hear, the build up is pretty standard, a few risers in there, and then on the drop like a white noise impact. But there are a few things that we can sort of go through to basically make the drop hit harder and the build up more sort of atmospheric and more tension basically. If we hop straight into this, the first thing that we can do is if we select our master bus, we can open an imaging plugin. You can use any sort of plugin that will do this. I like to use the Ozone Imager. All the stuff by Ozone is really good and it's free, I believe, so that's always a bonus. So basically what we're going to do here is in the build up of our track we can automate the width to increase, and then just before the drop hits we're going to make the width shoot back down to 0%, and basically your kick and bass will hit down the middle so it'll have more impact. So the best way to do this would be to put it on our master channel, so that way everything will sort of be sent to the sides, and when we bring it back down to 0 everything will obviously be back down the middle. So if we add this to our master bus, and what we're going to do here is select the width parameter to automate. So if we turn this on, we want to sort of start this at the beginning of the break and basically gradually increase this towards the end of the break, and just before the drop hits we reduce it back to 0 so everything is back down the middle. If we take a listen to now how this sounds.
Come on, let's do it. Come on, let's go. Out of control, out of control. Come on, let's do it. Come on, let's go. Out of control, out of control. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So as you can hear, really nice effect. You can hear that the vocal just before the drop and just before the vocal ends, it sort of channels back down the middle, which gives a really nice effect. And like I say, you can use any plugin that will basically increase the width within your track, or any sort of imager. I'm sure Ableton has something similar that you can use. And if you don't want to sort of automate everything, you can also just place this on, for example, your vocal bus or your synths. But I like to do on everything as it gives sort of a bigger effect, so to say. The second thing that we can automate would be our effects, so our risers or our white noise, whatever you might be using. So if we sort of jump into this, I've got a couple of synth risers that I'm using, one that's sort of lower and one that's more higher up in the frequency spectrum, just to sort of fill out the space. So if we just have a quick listen to what they sound like. So there is a way we can make this more interesting, and the way I like to do this is by using a plugin called Tremolo, which basically will modulate your audio signal to go left and right. You can see that right now we've got it set to a quarter note, but you can change this to an 8th, 6th, 16th dotted notes as well. So I like to have it set to a quarter note. What we're going to do is, as the riser increases in volume, we're going to automate the depth of the audio signal to go left to right. And yeah, you can also adjust the smoothness of this. So if you want it really harsh going left to right, you can have it at 0%, or if you want it more smooth, or 100%. I like to have it around 60%, something like that, just so you can like properly hear the effect, what's going on. If we set the depth to 0 and select the depth also as the parameter that we're going to automate. Basically what we want to do is increase the depth as the riser increases in volume gradually. So we've got it set at 0% at the start, and then it goes up to 86%. But obviously this is on a sort of track-to-track basis, so you can decide what sounds good for your own track. So if we listen to this riser now by itself, with the depth being automated, you can see there'll be a lot more movement and it'll be a lot more interesting. You can see that the audio signal is being sent left to right, which creates sort of much more movement and basically makes it more interesting. And you can go a step further with this, so you can also increase the rate if you wanted to, and also the smoothness. So if you wanted to, say, get really harsh effect from going left to right towards the end, you can sort of decrease the smoothness even down to 0. And I'm sure Ableton has something similar to this. So yeah, that's sort of two things that we can do in terms of width and sort of stereo information in the build-up. The next thing I want to get into is automating the pitch of some of your channels. So in this build-up, I've got a sort of synth stab that's not really doing much. It's sort of in the background. It's not really a main lead sound, but there are some things we can do to make this interesting. So if we listen to this, so it's a good sound, it's cool, but it's not really doing much in the build-up. This sound was in Serum, just a preset that I sort of adjusted, and to get this pitch effect within Serum, I got one of the macro knobs. I assigned them to the coarse pitch of each oscillator, and I set each oscillator to 9, I believe. And basically what happens is when I increase the pitch, it will increase the pitch of both oscillators at the same time, and you can get a really nice effect. If we open Serum and if we select the macro knob to modulate, then we can automate this and increase the pitch as it gets further towards the drop. So yeah, as you can see and hear, the pitch of the synth stab is increasing, which gives a really cool effect on the build up. So if we just listen to some of this in context with everything else in the track.
Out of control. Come on, let's do it. Come on, let's go. Out of control.
It just makes it much more interesting to listen to, and it sort of keeps the listener guessing as to what is going on. So yeah, that's something that I like to do on some of my synth sounds that I'm using. You can also do it on something like this, for example, or even pads. Like, we can increase the pitch of this pad towards the end of the drop. So have a play around and see what sort of works. And the final thing I'd like to go through to create more tension is a plugin called Endless Smile. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this before, but basically there's quite a few presets that you can skip through that will do all the work for you. So this has like reverb, echo, chorus, etc. built into this, and all you have to do is just use this one knob, and this will basically increase those things that I just mentioned on whatever track you've got selected. So I like to use this on my drum bus. So basically what I'll do is just skip through whatever preset and until I find one I like, and then all I'll do is select the intensity knob to automate. Then once I've done that, I'll select a portion that I want to automate before the drop, and then just draw in a gradual increase of the intensity of the Endless Smile. And also when you end the automation of this Endless Smile, it will give a sort of reverb tail until whenever 0 is hit. So I like to have it sort of just before the drop. It will hit 0 and then there's a bit of silence and then the drop hits. So now if we listen to these drums, that was very extreme, but obviously we can sort of tune this to taste. But yeah, as you can see, it's got some filtering in there, reverb, delay, chorus, etc. So it's a really good plugin to sort of automate channels. I like, for example, vocals. You can do this on your synths, even effects. I like to sort of try it out on a few things, but drums is definitely a good option that I like to do. And yeah, it just saves a lot of work. So instead of like doing your reverb and your delay all separately, you can just use one knob and automate this, and then you're good to go. So now that we've automated these parameters, if we listen to the drop now and see how it sounds.
Come on, let's do it. Come on, let's go. Out of control. Out of control. Come on, let's do it. Come on, let's go. Out of control. Out of control. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So as you can hear, the drop has much more impact, and there's sort of much more sort of atmosphere and tension in the build up of this track. And you can go even further than this. You can automate, like I say, your synths, your vocals with the Endless Smile or the Width, or yeah, whatever you like. Basically get creative with it and see what happens. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, then leave a comment, subscribe to Tech House Market, and I'll see you on the next one.
Out of control.